Welcome everybody to episode 128 of the
128.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're here. I'm of course Meelz. I'm here with JG Okotu himself.
Yes. What's going on, man?
Would you say this is the biggest episode?
It's massive for us. Yeah.
Yeah. This is stuff that we've talked about and never thought it would come to fruition.
Yeah,
but
it's real
listen, man. We did it. That's all I got to say about that. We did it.
It's beautiful.
I think just in general, the way this matters to us and being able to talk to people who've been voicing characters from our childhood, being able to do it on our podcast. And now it makes me look like, listen, we got Chris Sabat and Sean Schemmel on the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. You know?
Bro, it makes me look back.
Doesn't it, though? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we logged off of there, and I was like, man, I've also spoke to Mike McFarlane. You know, I'm putting it all together, and I'm just like, damn, bro. Like,
this is our third time talking to Zeno. This is
third time talking to Zeno. At this point, Zeno know us by government. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's really, honestly, bro. It was like, everything aside, even just like on some fan shit, it was really important. Like stuff I won't ever forget.
So this week, obviously, if you've been sitting under a rock, because we've been talking about this for the past number of weeks, the Dragon Ball superhero film is officially in theaters this week. It's coming out. I guess it's on Friday. I don't know if you can see it on Thursday.
6 or something.
Yeah, so you might be able to see it. Tune into the movie. That's all I got to say about that. I think it's we've watched it already. We got the screener a week ago or so just to prepare for these interviews, and it is an enjoyable experience. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, especially old school Dragon Ball, to like Dragon Ball of the essence of it, like the pure, like before it became completely beam struggles. And don't get me wrong, there's some beam struggles. You're gonna get the beams in the film.
Yeah, it's gonna be there now. But this is a nice throwback to us, honestly.
It is a great film. And the voice actors themselves just did a great job throughout the film. So I implore you, if you're gonna watch the sub, go watch the sub. But if you got time for the dub, I say the dub is incredibly done well. It's Dragon Ball. It's the voices that we heard. It's Goku. It's Vegeta. It's Piccolo. It's Gohan. It's Trunks. It's Goten. It's Krillin. It's everybody who's in this film.
Man.
But I mean, we got to talk to everybody. Hold on. We got to talk to everybody in this film. We were part of a press junket for this film, so I also want to give a shout out to Nagier, and I want to give a shout out to Ernesto. Nagier of Big Gold Belt Media, and Ernesto of Full Circle Cinema, because if you hear questions that aren't ours, they came from them, and it was a quaint press junket. Yeah, they were amazing. Oh my God. Yeah. So it was a quaint press junket. It was only pretty much four of us. It's three media outlets because we count it as one media outlet, and you're gonna hear that in the episode because I truly feel like at points we got screwed, but I didn't want to say
we did. But you know, hey.
But they were like, there's two of y'all, that's cheating. But then I was also like, yeah, so now you're gonna give us even less questions,
real
because of that. But nonetheless,
we came to represent, man. That was it.
We just came to represent. We podcast hosts, man. We does this. So with that said, it was great. You're gonna get a lot of great experiences. Probably one of the most eye-opening ones for me. And Sean Schemmel was talking about like, yo, I wasn't going money when Goku was in the healing tank and I didn't have no lines. I wasn't getting any money. I was like, yo, that is.
Brett said he was in the hype, but he was healing.
That was hilarious.
It's actually really funny though.
So the order this is going to go is we have the interview with Zeno and Aleks, who are Gamma 1 and Gamma 2.
Love those guys, man.
Then we have the interview with Sean Schemmel. I want to get his name right. Well, it's Zach Aguilar, and then where's my mouse? I want to get this man's name right. Who was Carmine in the movie? I believe it was Jason Marnocha. So so we have an interview with those three, and then we cap it off with Chris Sabat and Kyle Herbet, the voices of. Well, Chris Sabat is a million voices, so there's he's Vegeta, he's Piccolo, he's All Might, he's everybody. So, and Chris, Kyle Herbet, who is the voice of Gohan in the film, and probably some more, to be honest with you. So make sure you tune into the movie. Make sure you tune into our interviews. Yes. And we're gonna get this thing started. So let's get it started.
Don't let it go to your head! Who are you, and what do you want?
An old-fashioned superhero, fulfilling orders in the name of justice.
Piccolo!
That was an underwhelming performance. I was expecting a lot more out of you.
The return of the Red Ribbon Army is near! Pan!
This world needs a hero. I just picked up some new intel on who the villains are.
Gohan, it's do or die time, so draw out all of your strength. Okay then, guess it's my turn!
Oh, holy crap!
Dragon Ball Super! Superhero!
What's up, Zeno? What's up, Aleks? Good to see you two hanging out together, homies. Got to talk to Zeno a few weeks ago, so it's dope to catch back up and the two of you together in the same room. Zeno spoke a lot about you two's friendship and how it was a pleasure to work alongside of you. Now seeing the film, seeing that work come to life, have you all had a chance to see it, and what have you been feeling about your performances on it?
You want to take this one first, or should I?
You do. You go. Gamma 1.
Okay. I have seen the film. It was a blast, and I gotta say, story-wise, it's got to be one of my favorite films yet. Probably my favorite, actually. It just had such a nostalgic vibe to it. It drew a lot. It reminded me a lot of like the original Dragon Ball prior to Dragon Ball Z, and I really love that content where it was all about family and fun, and there were a lot more action, especially with side characters as well. And I feel like this film is a great moment for everybody to shine, and it was just great to see the great Gohan.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Aleks, having seen the film and knowing what I know about it. I think I spoke a lot about this. Like Gamma 2's heart is like really, as far as my performance is concerned, like kind of a shining beacon in the film, and it's kind of I think his key trait. And I think it's what audiences will connect with the most. I usually take to any work that I do and I study it and I criticize it harshly. And I think like no harsher will I be a harsher critic than on a movie like Dragon Ball and a franchise like Dragon Ball. So I probably won't be able to speak reliably about my performance because I'll probably like tear it to shreds. But I think I think the best thing about I think the best thing about it is, for me, I felt like as long as I feel like audiences take away Gamma 2's heart from the film, that's all I can ask for of myself. And just kind of piggybacking off of Aleks, I think it's like a very funny story that's connecting back to the roots of Dragon Ball with more humor, more expansion on the world. We don't really focus on Goku and Vegeta as characters. This is definitely an expansion of the universe of Dragon Ball, which is something that I really, really like to see.
My question is sort of like one for both of you guys. So I want to know what the process was like voicing these two characters and becoming partners both on and off screen. You guys collaborated a lot, before making the movie.
Well, prior to doing this film, we hadn't done a lot of things together. At least things where we're not fighting.
Not to this capacity. We're usually like fighting each other and stuff. Like if you watch Kuroko's Basketball Rivals, or like sometimes I'll like he'll bully me or I'll bully him.
Yeah.
And it's always
so this was kind of our moment to finally
be bros.
Yeah. And even tracing back to the audition process, we basically kind of auditioned together.
Yeah.
Chris Sabat, our director, was like, "Hey, I would like to hear you both, for these roles."
Mm-hmm.
And so Zeno would text me and he's like, "Did you do it yet?" And I text him like, "No."
Did you do it yet? Yeah. Like,
we kind of trade files and listen to what we did and kind of just like take notes. And even going into the booth, we had a lot of time to just collaborate, and that was a really fun experience.
Cool. Yeah. Like Aleks came early to recordings, and he Chris, our director, he was like, "Oh, well, this is my voice. Do you want to sit in?" And he kind of let Aleks kind of sit in and listen to a lot of my process, which I think really helped us kind of establish not just like making the voices similar and distinct, but also helping kind of create the bond and the cohesion between the two characters. Because then we had the freedom to, if Aleks got an idea, he could hop in the booth, and I would hop out, or if I got an idea, I could hop in and he would hop out, and we could always swap. And I can go, "Oh, because you read it like this, I can read it like that now that I'm hearing it in real time." And that's like a rarity in anime recording. So it really helped us, I think, establish the relationship between Gamma 1 and Gamma 2.
Wow, really cool tag team then. That's awesome.
Hey, so shout out to you guys. Hey, what up, Zeno, Aleks? How you guys doing from the Lookout? So actually, I wanted to ask, well, I have two questions, but I'll do one. I'm assuming both of you guys grew up watching Dragon Ball. I know Zeno did. I've interviewed him before. So did you have to have any prep? Let's say we're doing the power-up scenes, we're doing the action scenes, we're doing the screaming scenes. Did you guys need any prep? Did you guys have to ask for any advice? Did you guys have to do kind of anything for that? Or was like, nah, this is ingrained in me since I was a kid? Like,
my prep was years on my middle school, elementary school, playground
in your bedroom.
Right, like that was my prep in public places. Yeah, it was practicing.
Yeah, we look at each other and go,
like that was my prep, is playing every game and playing pretend as a kid, and then being impassioned as an artist when the time finally came to know exactly where that comes from inside of myself.
Yeah, if anything, Chris was our director, was very surprised when we both came in ready to do the fight sounds.
Oh yeah,
he was like, "Whoa, you guys already know what to do. I don't need to tell you." Yeah.
And in fact, sometimes I think I kind of scared him a little bit of how eager I was. Gamma 2 has a couple of like really big moments, and like I would finish them, and he would be like, "Are you okay?" And I would be like, "Can I do another?" Like, yeah, exactly. More. And he's like, "You madman, we got it the first time." I could like hear him like clench up whenever I had to do a big scream, because he was very concerned. He was worried about my voice because he knows what those things can do to our voices. But I was all in.
That's awesome. And does it change the pressure joining something like Dragon Ball Super and putting your voice on a character? Does it change the way that you go into your performance? It's kind of like what my partner Meelz said. Does it really take you to a whole nother level knowing that you're playing a character that's going to be in history on such a major franchise?
I think there is definitely a certain amount of pressure there, because jumping into such a legendary franchise, there's always going to be high expectations and stuff like that. But personally speaking, and I'm sure it is for you too, we were just so eager to play in this world that we had no worries whatsoever. I was certainly not nervous at all. I think my excitement to just go in there and be a part of this film kind of outweighed any concerns I had. So at the end of the day, and I knew I was doing it with you, so I knew we were gonna have a blast. And when the day came, we just had a great time, as expected.
I set out to make this my best work to date. I think that's just a pressure I put on myself with this being Dragon Ball, but I really did set out to be like, I want this to, like, everything that I've done before, I want this to top it. And I think when I focused on that, it became less about, I mean, I did feel pressure, of course, with Dragon Ball's near dear. So there's any pressure being put on me, it's by my own standards. But I did kind of set out to make it the best I've done, and I think that dedication to that made me like put pressure off of me and made me really hone in on the work.
All right. So it is Dragon Ball. We're all fans here. So, we got to ask the typical, the forums and the old school chat questions. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 versus Android 17 and 18. How does this go down?
Ooh, let's see. Well, I'm going to say this. We gave Piccolo a hard time.
Yeah, and Gohan. Gohan post Boo.
Right. I mean, he's not as sharp as he was, once, but
right.
I think it would be a pretty tied match, but I'm just saying we're kind of the update, huh?
I think I think when it's described in the movie as the mightiest androids ever. I don't know where that they are like power level wise, but I feel like I'd give it to the Gammas.
I think their new technology and their new ability to adapt even to the greatest fighters like Gohan and Piccolo
even
gives them a high advantage.
They didn't even. It's not like they came out of those fights like
really
damaged either.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah, like
not even broke a sweat.
Yeah.
So.
Listen, I think obviously you got to lobby for your characters. But I think we all know the MVP of the tournament of power was Android 18, or 17. So I'm just saying. Saying.
Yeah. But if you think about it, sure, Android 17 also got murked by Trunks. Both of the androids when he went back to the future and just murked both of the androids. Now I'm like, I have to power scaling. Like if I can compare with Gohan Super Saiyan 2, who taught Trunks, like I feel like somewhere here. No.
Fair enough.
I've said my piece.
Yeah.
Something on the similar lines of that, but I want to ask you two, who would you guys want Gamma 1 and 2 to go up against? What duo do you think would be a fun duo to go up against in a fight?
I really agree with Android 17 and 18. I really would want to know, like, in canon, like, who is the stronger, like, pair of, like, androids. I really do think,
like Android 17 and 18 at their peak performance.
Yeah, like, in their prime. Before they, like, became, like, home people. Like,
home. I think the thing that is so interesting about androids is their ability to adapt and, basically study their opponent's moves instantly.
Right.
So I feel like it would be a very fast pace. And what do you do when you put two computers against each other?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Mac versus Android.
Battle of the Androids. That'd be awesome. I would want to see that.
Which is the better hardware?
So how long? Well, I don't know how long, but did it come to the realization that you guys are really one of the first people of color kind of playing these massive roles in Dragon Ball, and kind of how did that kind of like, did it hit you at any time as it hit you now in terms of like playing these massive roles? It's like really the first time in Dragon Ball over the last maybe 2 decades or so we're seeing true people of color in these massive roles in the film. Like, how do you guys feel about that, and how has it kind of affected you?
I honestly haven't really thought about it like that. Yeah, but that's kind of crazy that just so happens that the two of us got to jump in at such a great time. And I feel like, for me as an immigrant who basically grew up learning English via Dragon Ball, I feel like for me this is very much one of my best goals I've ever accomplished in my life. And I've had fans come up to me and thank me for making them feel at home when they consume media with somebody else who looks like them in it. So I think it's definitely important, as always, but it really hasn't set in yet. I think it really hasn't I haven't really sat with it.
I think I noticed like how diverse the cast was when that big list with everybody and their pictures kind of came together. I was like, oh, this is kind of a little bit of a diverse cast we got going on here, at least with the new people. And not just like me and you, like as far as races go, but I think generations. Like, we have like you and Zach who like, and me who are kind of like the fresher blood when it comes to like voiceover. And then there's like Charles Martinet, who's like a freaking legend in the community, and like a legend on like the video game side, being the voice of Mario. And then apparently James Marnocha was part of like the Absalom film, like fan film stuff that used to happen. So
it's definitely a new film in every sense of the word.
And like I know like the impact Dragon Ball had on the Black community, and I know the impact it still does have on our community. So like I was acutely aware of how I never thought, like, I've been trying to play Oob for or like when Oob comes back, I was like, he's like the only one we've got, so I had to be able to play it in this capacity, like on this scale on a movie like this. I think I've been acutely aware of like how actors are, how far we've come when it comes to representation and actors of color, and like being able to play Android, being able to play Gamma 2 as opposed to like some other character, I think is a testament to that.
Just the fact that we're able to see ourselves, top billing.
The fact that I was considered, the fact that Chris Sabat was like, hey, like, I think I want you. Like, that's crazy to me. So
we've definitely come a long way. And I feel like this is definitely like a historic moment for both of us and also the industry in general.
Agreed.
All right, so another question in terms of the film. Now, Alex, you said you've seen it. I just wanted you could express your emotion of looking at the animation, which is clearly next level in this film. I just wanted to know, what were you thinking when you was watching it? Because I was kind of like mind blown without words, but see, I'm putting you on the spot so you can generate some words about what I was thinking, if possible.
The thing that was super amazing for me to see with this is that it's a new form of animation. It's 3D, but it's stylized as 2D. So they were able to get really, really creative with that. And for the first time with these free cameras, we were able to do these insane angles within like half a second.
Yeah.
So the fight scenes always they never needed to like cut to multiple different angles. They just like pan the camera around and you could see the fight scenes like in their entirety. And also the way they did the colors of the blasts and everything was just incredible. And the choreography really, really like really stood out with this new animation. I was just absolutely blown away. It was truly a spectacle for me personally.
Yeah, I'm gonna just agree with you there. Like, I think this is like some of the first few times outside of playing the games you can see a lot of these moves and a lot of this stuff in a true three-dimensional space.
It's Dragon Ball 3D.
Yeah, it like hits different.
Dragon Ball.
It hits a little differently. Like for fans of Broly, who like how crisp and fluid that animation was, I think this is gonna have more specifics to like a more well-rounded like kind of spectacle than Broly was. I think I can only always speak to the specificity of like, there's so many tight, minute details that can only really be captured like in like a 3D kind of animation style. And I think like
and they did a great
job. It's like cool seeing like all this stuff, all these fights happen in like three-dimensional space.
Also, the colors are very saturated and bright. It's awesome.
I wanted to know what you two took away from your experience of entering the Dragon Ball world, and how that you think will affect your work going forward. Like what it means to you, to be a part of this iconic franchise.
Going forward, I feel like we're probably gonna always look back on this moment as like, hopefully not look back on it as like, wow,
I'll never get there again. But, how do I top Dragon Ball?
It's definitely putting up for whatever we do next. But it truly, again, it's an incredible moment for both of us, I think.
Especially I think for me, when we were speaking on the last question about like representation and about what that means, like I guess if you'd have asked a 2017 Zeno who was like, man, they're not hiring me because blank, 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 you would never have thought like he would eventually like go on to be like a star in one of the Dragon Ball films. Like as a kid, like it's just very a full circle moment for like my inner child, but also for like me as an artist as well. Like Dragon Ball was kind of part of what brought me into this world of anime and what started that flame, that passion. And now that I'm a part of it, it will stay with me as something that's like, wow, like a lot of the things that you thought were unachievable are, as long as you like continue to like continue to focus on the work and just grateful to God and just be blessed, just keep focused on be great and grateful and being the best artist you could be.
Okay, my first question would be for Sean. I just want to know what it was like having your character take more of a back seat this time around in this Dragon Ball film.
It was great. I had to work way less, and that was fun. I'm and it's happened a few times in the series. I remember asking my dad for gas money because Goku was in the healing tank and I wasn't getting any hours at work. And I was like, Dad, I can't even drive to work. This is like in the early 2000s when I first started working on the show. So it's happened before. And I'm so proud of this cast because, when you're in the hot seat for 20 years and it's, I never really think of when I'm acting that I'm carrying a show. It's really an ensemble cast, but you do realize when you're not in the hot seat, how much work you are having to do. And you worry that if that void is there, that you're hoping that the cast and the characters and the writing is going to fill that void in a very unique and special way, and as well as hopefully the story and yourself has been doing it. And this cast just killed it in that regard. Everybody is just performing at 110% of their abilities, in my opinion, and they're just. The level of care that went into this movie was unprecedented, although we do it for every single one. But yeah, it was really exciting for me to just, and I'm so proud of Kyle for just bringing it as Gohan, which he always does. But, he has some new situations that we can't talk about yet that are pretty impressive. And to hear the new, and what I love is to hear the new cast because I thought it was interesting. I was talking to Alex Lee, and I know Zach is just a touch older than Alex. And I said, Alex, when were you born? He was like 1999. And I'm like, that's when I started on the show in March of 99. And to have the new cast, really killing it. And then you have the legacy old cast and it all just comes together in this wonderful, this pie that Chris Sabat is, and it wouldn't have happened without Chris Sabat. He directed that movie like crazy. And he's so excellent about building a sonic palette of different timbres that come together really well when he's casting. So it's not just about acting, it's how the voices sound together. And he's really, really excellent at that part in particular. And so the casting was just done so well and everybody just performed so well. And so for me to sit back and watch it, like as an actor and as a character, I'm just eating popcorn watching pretty much, you know what I mean? Like it's, and it's important to do that with a story. If you saturate your audience with your main characters for too much, you want, and then you realize why you miss them, which actually happens on the series because, Goku will disappear for a while and then you see him come back and then the whole crew's like, Goku! And he walks up and he's all glowing or whatever he's doing, whatever, like he did in Battle of Gods. He shows back up, and so it was really fun and exciting for me to not have to destroy my voice on a film. Which I always enjoy, and then I just get to do comedy pretty much. And it was I love the fact that I don't want to do any spoilers, but I like I'm not only going to say this broadly and not specifically, but that the rule set that we put down for them to fight was also fascinating for me as a guy playing Goku. And then of course we have a lovely post-credit scene that I won't mention. That is really excellent. So yeah, I am so proud of this cast, and it was really thrilling just to watch everybody do their thing. Where I'm just casually on the side, doing my thing. So hope that's a good answer. I went. It was a little
perfect answer. Thank you so much, Sean.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great question.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Zach and Jason look like they're playing the part right now of their characters.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes,
we came into this call this morning and I feel like I am the odd one out because I look over here, mustache. I look over here, mustache, but I need a villainous mustache. So
I don't tell anyone mine's fake, but
Zach, I'm just a huge fan of your work. I mean, you have just tremendous range, and then knowing you were casted for this, welcome to the Dragon Ball universe and family. I think that's awesome. Same to you, Jason. I just for the life of me, and you're a professional, but for the life of me, I just do not get how you take these characters and truly make them yours and do not have any remnants of like anything you've ever voice acted. So going into Dr. Hedo, like, what was like the thought process in really making this sound, this character truly unique?
First of all, thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I think this character was just different from anything I've ever done. We were solely focused on, making him sound kind of like crazy and maniacal, and he has a touch of like evil in his voice, but he's not pure of heart evil. That's not what his motives are. That's not his intention. He is just a pure scientist. He wants to achieve his goal. He wants to continue his research. And at the end of it all, you have to remember that this character, even though he is a super genius, he is 24 years old, which, funny enough, is how old I am actually. So he is kind of trying to just like, he has a different perspective, maybe from like an older scientist who is weathered and has been like, this is my life's work. I've been doing this forever. Dr. Hedo's like, oh yeah, I've just achieved the greatest, the greatest in engineering history here with Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I'm still young. It's pretty cool. Like, it's awesome. I'm just amazing. I'm a super genius. So yeah, no, it was just crazy. And kind of to touch on what Sean said before, like getting to work on this role with Chris Sabat, Vegeta, Piccolo. I mean, he is a staple to the Dragon Ball universe, dream come true. And he really just kind of helped me bring out the character and do it in a funny, cool Dragon Ball cartoonish way without going too over the top with it, kind of like reeling it back and just kind of making it fit in, I think, with what everybody else was kind of doing.
I have a question for Jason. First of all, congratulations on the film, guys. You guys all did really great. Jason, I wanted to know, how important was it to bring that same Red Ribbon Army energy into this film? Because it's really Dragon Ball's first real evil faction, so having it come back on this level is a massive deal to a lot of fans who've been here for a long time. So I wanted to know, like, how was that energy just coming in there and really knocking it out?
I loved that about it because I remembered the Red Ribbon Army from when I would watch the show. So I was like, oh, okay, I understand this, and I see where we're going with this. And then you see Magenta, and it's like, he's essentially like the same same kind of dude. All right. So that was kind of really rewarding because I don't usually watch. I didn't watch a lot of anime when I was a kid, but I did watch Dragon Ball. So it was nice to come into a franchise and be like, this I know. Like, this I understand. I get this world. I know these characters. So that kind of set things up nicely. And let alone, I know this totally not evil organization. It's totally fine, obviously. Right. So that was a lot of fun to be able to like bring, so already having some kind of understanding of that group was actually kind of helpful in a way, because it didn't require a whole bunch of explaining to me, and I was able to just sort of bring some memories into the game.
Awesome. This one's for Zach and Jason. Say you can go back in history because we're all fans of Dragon Ball here. What's one character from the past that you would have loved to do the voice for? Like, I mean, and granted, they're all amazing. Everyone's done an amazing job.
Oh wow. Yeah. I absolutely loved playing Dr. Hedo in the film, but if I could go back and play somebody, of course, I love every single voice actor, would never, ever like want to, even if they decided, no, I don't want to voice the role anymore, I still wouldn't try to take it over because I am such a huge fan of the show. I would never, I'm like, no. You
don't got a mean Android 19 voice in you or something?
I would love to play a Saiyan, to be honest with you. I think growing up as a kid, who didn't try to go Super Saiyan? I mean, I didn't do that at all in my room, like, ever. I don't know. I think it would just be awesome to play a Saiyan, to kind of get to that level, where you're pushed so far, do a fight scene, and then finally, reveal your true power and just like explode with anger and rage. I think that would just be amazing. Maybe I would like to play, I don't know, like some version of Goten, possibly, or something like that. Maybe Goten, maybe Trunks. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, I feel you on the Saiyan thing. I'm thinking the same thing. And I'm talking like full, like the shoulder pads, the biker shorts, like the whole thing, like Raditz or something, like the whole, the scouter, like everything. I want that kind of Saiyan. That kind of Saiyan is my favorite kind. So no offense, Sean.
No, it doesn't bother me at all. I would love to have played Vegeta because he gets all the good lines.
Oh yeah, and like they all just get to be so cool and have variations of hair spikes, and like it's just.
I know. Could you imagine?
Rock, man.
The transformations never end.
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah.
They're hard to keep track of, but.
Sure.
Well, I do change my voice slightly for each one, which was just an idea I had back when I first started working on the show. And I don't know that I regret it now, but I didn't realize how challenging it was going to get as the forms kept coming. And I do think it's important to kind of affect the state you're in as an actor, because even for Ultra Instinct, one of the thought processes I had for trying to do that was, how do I make Goku? I feel like it's the ultimate Zen state to where he doesn't have to think about his moves anymore. So how do you make him sound like he's not thinking and everything's automatic without sounding robotic or boring? And so as an example, that's one of the more difficult forms to do in terms of emoting what state the character is in. But yeah, to answer the question, I would love to have played Vegeta because he's got such juicy lines. The villain, evilish characters. I mean, he's not really evil anymore, but evil characters tend to have the best lines. Whereas the Boy Scouts don't really. But,
Thank you guys.
It's good to be Goku, though. Trust me, it's great. The best.
Awesome.
Okay, my question is for Zach. Your character, Dr. Hedo, he's a fan of superheroes. So I want to ask you, what superhero would you want to join your Dragon Ball team in a fight? Any sort of superhero? You have a particular favorite or one you think would have a good place in that world?
Ooh, I don't know if he would have a good place. I think recently I've discovered, of course, I love Spider-Man. I love Batman, Robin, Nightwing. I think I would love to change it up. Let's go with Deadpool. Let's see how Deadpool is. I have recently discovered I just really like Deadpool. Watching the movies, I've read just a little bit of the comics, like not a whole bunch. I haven't fully immersed myself, but I'm honestly going to dive into the Deadpool series and just check it out and start from the beginning to end, because I love the jokes and the comedy, and I don't know. I think it's a good balance for a superhero.
It's a great choice. You'd definitely be able to take a beating in the Dragon Ball world, I feel like.
Oh yeah, he could. He could take a serious beating.
That's true. Yeah.
No one's putting Goku against Deadpool. Goku would have to probably incinerate his whole body.
So, I mean, this question is totally on par for the movie. So, folks listening to the interviews are probably gonna be like, "What is he asking this for?" But for all fun and intents and purposes here, what is your favorite type of Oreo?
Oh, dude, this is the best question.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, because I can't do gluten or dairy, and I love Oreos, and I'm gonna be buying Zach a bunch of Oreos very soon. Dude, there's so many cool flavors out. They have this new mocha chocolate one, and they put little sugar crystals in the Oreos.
What?
Yeah, there's mocha, and then there's a toffee one. It's really good, and they have the little bits of chocolate and then little sugar crystals. Dude, there's so many. And the chocolate mint ones, then there's the chocolate ones, they're mint and then they're covered in chocolate mint, so they're saturated. Oh my God, yeah, I love Oreos.
I like the winter ones that have the white chocolate.
Yeah,
those are good too.
Yeah.
Those are super good. Oh man,
I think for me it's just like the peanut butter Oreos. I am a sucker for peanut butter, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
this question intrigues Dr. Hedo.
It seems like Dr. Hedo only eats the plain ones, though, and he always.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if they're double stuffed.
Yeah,
I would take my payment in Oreos. Thank you.
And then he scoops from one. He just scrapes it as if he's spooning it with one other
That-
half of the Oreo, and I was sitting there thinking that doesn't change the flavor profile at all. Like you're just one half dozen the other.
Sort of like stirring your finger into the wine or something like that. Where it's just like, but what are you?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
This is the solution to inflation. Let's get it done. Payment by Oreos.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
And he's
we're
got an
not going
Oreo
to-
dispenser
it's
in
on
the
the budget.
car. Carmine has an Oreo dispenser in the car.
Yep. Thank you.
It's all good. It's all good. Sean, I do have a question for you. And this is kind of on par with the movie, obviously, but your natural voice is so close already to what you perform as Goku.
Yeah.
Are you ever out just ordering food in the in the drive-through and somebody's like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Does it ever happen to you?
Yeah, when I moved to LA, it's because of YouTube. I mean, I'm a voice actor, so I'm not an
Right,
on-camera
right.
actor, but because of YouTube, I remember when I met my partner, Bree, she was doing Google Analytics a lot, and she was like, even in 2011, she's like, videos of you have been watched 36 million times. I'm like, I don't even keep track. And then we did Battle of Gods, and they put cameras in the booth, and I did the Will Not Destroy My World scene, which I wasn't really paying attention to the cameras. I was just working. And when people say that, they go, "Wow, that I will not let you destroy my world." That's amazing. I'm like, that's every day at work. That's not one. That's every single day. But when we moved to LA, I got recognized at the DMV. I got recognized at Fry's, and it was more my face than my voice. Although on occasion, there will be someone with a good set of ears that it's like, "Wait, you sound familiar," and then they do a little math, and they're like, "You're the guy," and I'm like, "No, I'm not Trey Parker." And the sideburns, it's not Trey. Someone thought I was Trey Parker at one point at San Diego Comic-Con. They thought I was him, but I'm like, yeah, it does happen more from the videos than I think my actual speaking voice. And I used to have a Goku wallet that I stopped carrying because I'd be paying for like something at Starbucks, and they'd see the wallet, and then they'd look at me, and then I'm at Starbucks for 20 minutes talking about Dragon Ball when I'm just trying to get coffee.
Right.
But I remember I was at the DMV, and the guy walks up to me when I was just getting my license. He goes, "Hey, are you the guy that plays Goku?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get my license right now." So it does happen, and it does shock me a lot. But again, I think it's mostly because of YouTube. It's everyone who's not an on-camera person now has a following. Everybody seems to. So it's kind of surreal.
Awesome.
You guys are getting recognized with your.
All right, my next question is for Jason. I'm glad I'm finally able to get a question to Jason.
Yes.
You're excellent as Carmine.
Thank you.
So I want to know how you approach your performance playing a sort of like ruthless character like Carmine. Like, what is your approach in changing your voice performance?
Well, when I initially auditioned, the voice was very, very deep and it was very, very serious and stuff like that. And it sort of ended up morphing almost more into my natural voice than a lot of other roles I play, which was fun. And it was also nice that, getting to, because I think we also wanted to make sure that we were differentiating from what Charles Martinet was doing. So that way it's not like too close to each other or anything like that. And what's interesting is that, I had never necessarily thought that I would show up in the Dragon Ball franchise, but I think it's fun that, I play a character who doesn't throw energy balls at people and, kick planets and whatnot. Like he's just sort of a guy who's trying to just keep things together, which I thought was just really fun to play vocally. And the dialogue and the writing in this movie is so great that it was very easy to like go with the narrative flow. But so I guess that part of the fun of the character was how do you keep someone who's like super serious interesting, and part of the fun of that is when he just has moments where he chuckles at something that Magenta is doing, or throws an extra little glance at someone else or smirks at he has little moments of extra personality that were really fun.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can throw one in there real quick. Sean, every time I tell somebody if they have an opportunity to talk to you, I say, he talks Dragon Ball all the time. Sometimes he likes to talk about music, but his real love is cars. I quickly just want to ask, and I know it's off par, but the Nissan New Z, thoughts about it?
Wow. Funny that you mentioned that. I have an exact replica of my
Boom
car right here, my M4, with all the carbon fiber I put on it. sitting at my desk here. So I've read some extensive reviews on the New Z. I used to have a 370 Z Nismo. I'm very excited about the New Z. I'm tempted to get one. It's either that or a Supro and a manual, because I like to have a manual and an automatic is what I like to do. But it depends on what's going on with money, and everything's real crazy right now with the economy. So I got to be careful. And also, used car prices are higher than new car prices. But
yes,
the new Z I think is magnificent. It has some unique features that came from Ferrari, like a turbo spool meter that helps you that keeps compression going, because it can control how you, and which is a Ferrari thing. Even my car does not have that. So I think the Z is really going to be, the Z might beat in sales, might beat the Super, even though Super, I drove a Super recently. It was really great, but I really love the new new Z is awesome. I kind of want one. It's especially the manual. They really knocked it out of the park. So I know that's on Dragon Ball really asking me about cars. So
no, I mean it's just what you do and what Goku's doing when he's not fighting. That's what
right.
The question was.
And, Kira Toriyama, by the way, Kira Toriyama is a major racing enthusiast. I've seen him throughout the years. He's a racing and car enthusiast from what I've heard. So I love the fact that I feel like I have that in common with him, even though I've never met him. I like to think that he likes racing in cars, because I've seen him talk about that over the last 20, 30 years. So yeah, that's exciting. Thanks for asking. I
absolutely
I think the new Z is going to be great, and I miss my Nismo. I do, but the new Z is going to be better, I think. Zach and I have been talking about cars lately. Actually, Zach is like, "Sean, we got to talk about cars." I'm like, "All right," and I've been giving him like all kinds of data. That's a good one to consider, by the way, Zach, is the new Z. That's a really
yeah, I know. I have to.
You look great in that. That's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Pull up to the Dragon Ball premiere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It sounds cheesy, but I really wanted I still want it to. I just really wanted a DeLorean. I love the Back to the Future movies, and I think the gull wing doors, that's what they are, right? They're
gull wing doors.
Gull wing doors. Those things just look so sick. Just pull up. Pop that thing open. You're like coming out of the time chamber.
A smoke machine in it, so every time you open the door, a bunch of smoke billows out. Or just vape a whole bunch before you open the door. Every time.
That's one way to get ready for the premiere.
Out,
I'm
driving my car down to the premiere tomorrow, dude. Zach, we'll go for a spin if you want. I'm driving
yeah, no, I am so down.
Yeah, man.
Morning. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
How y'all doing?
Chris, all for pun intended, I was not aware that you wore all the hats in this film by directing and casting, and obviously voicing two pivotal characters. It's very well documented how much you love and care about this franchise. But now that you are in a position where you are both, should I say, in front of the camera, behind the camera, in terms of production and in terms of doing the work, just what's your demeanor and mood and temperament going into projects now, knowing that like you also have fun in the booth, but you also got a vast amount of responsibility in bringing this production to life?
Well, thank you for making my job sound even more important than it actually is. But I do feel like the cool part is that I get to wrangle the most talented cats in the universe. That's everybody in this show, everyone in this show. Especially people like Kyle and Sean, they've been doing this for 20 years. So it's not really a matter of let's try and get these guys in the character. They already know their characters. So my job really is only, hey, let's find some new people that haven't been in the universe before. And so I was really lucky to be able to find the new cast members I was able to find. I'm so proud that we were able to get Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, in this. I'm so happy that we got to snag Zeno Robinson, Alex Lee, and Zach Aguilar. These are some of the most talented up and coming voice actors in our industry that have not been in the franchise before. So it was exciting to bring them into the fold on this. And at this point, it was the job for the story to basically tell itself. We just wanted to make sure that our dub was as awesome as it could be. And what I love to do as a director is to let the actors do what they do best. I don't have to tell Kyle Aber what to do. It's more of a collaborative thing of like, hey, what do you think of that? Do you want to try this to see if we can make this more interesting? And I'm also looking for moments to where we can to add something that may not have been as obvious in the Japanese that we notice, not by adding lines or anything like that, but really by trying to make sure that the dialogue just feels natural and good to an English audience. So it's yeah, it's incredible. I'm so lucky to have been, Piccolo and Korin and Vegeta in this film. Like, I'm pretty lucky I get to talk most of the time in this movie, and it's the coolest way to be involved in a Dragon Ball feature.
Thank you so much for all the hard work over the years, man, and for this project, obviously.
My question is for Kyle. And in reading the script, this is a Gohan heavy centric movie. How did you feel necessarily about that? How did you feel like, all right, or was it like a looming, like, surely Goku and Vegeta will swoop in at some point and punch somebody or something like this? How did you feel about this movie, especially being, tied to the character for so long, of just, really being kind of in the forefront again?
Yeah, it's been a long wait. As long as I've been with the adult form of the character for the past 20 plus years, it's been a waiting game with fellow fans around the world, and hoping it's like, okay, Akira Toriyama, we love these other characters, but let's come back, let's bring it back, let's remember, can we make Gohan great again? And this is finally the opportunity to have that. I thought personally it was a matter of time. I always thought, okay, the potential's there, and his real father, Piccolo, is the one to be able to kind of ignite the spark needed to have him be ready to step up. And you couldn't pry me off the ceiling how excited I was to get to have this chance with such a great character, and to see him fulfill roles that he's obviously mastered in other aspects of life, but now it's like it's a pivotal moment. It's so great to finally see that.
Hi. Okay. My question is for Chris. First of all, congratulations on the film, both of you. Great work.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, Chris, how did you handle bringing a new level of intensity to Piccolo with him taking more center stage in this film? How did you approach this new sort of dynamic that he has in the film?
I think that the cool thing about being a dub actor is that we really do get to mirror what's happening on the screen. So luckily, that intensity that he has and the kind of the seriousness of the subject matter really comes through in the animation. Going through this film, it was very clear that Piccolo wasn't able to lean on the characters that they're used to leaning on. It becomes very clear that he's in a real pickle, for lack of a better word. And you see him going through his entire Rolodex of like, okay, then we're gonna need beans, and they're like, I'm sorry, Piccolo, we can't help you out there. And so, and then we need to let's try this. So he's scrambling to try and figure out what they can do. He goes through everything possible, and then he realizes that I guess we just need to do this my way, because he's not used to. He's always been the tactical one. He's always been the one that has kind of the better idea. But he's always had Goku going like, well, let's just fight him, I guess. And then Vegeta's like, let's just destroy him, I guess. So I think it was nice to see Piccolo do what he was supposed to do. And I loved getting to experience him going through this, because he does it with grace, and he does it. There's a lot of comedy in it. He's the butt of a lot of jokes along the way too. He has to use that embarrassing joke that he had stomach problems when he sneaks into the base, and then and then he has to live with the results of being made fun of for that stomach problem by other soldiers for the rest of the film. And the way he holds his phone, the way the way he really, it shows that he has such a dear friendship with not just Gohan, but his entire family. Those moments with Pan are just so endearing. And it reminds you that he is like Earth's last trainer. Everyone else is off in space doing their space things and becoming gods. He's on Earth. Master Roshi's not doing it anymore. It's Piccolo who's like down on the ground, grassroots, being the dude he is. And when people talk about how, he's Gohan's real dad, I can understand why you would feel that way, because Piccolo comes clearly from a culture of people who are tribal and they're like family oriented, and they they may not have genders, but they clearly are all they're used to being together. And Goku was adopted and abandoned as a child and just didn't have a father figure other than like maybe Grandpa Gohan to some degree. But so I can understand why Goku would just be kind of wrapped up in his own world. But Piccolo's been there. He's always been the guy for Gohan, and I'm happy to see this movie really kind of play that out.
Hey, Chris, I actually did have a question regarding Vegeta being a part-timer in this one. Was it something that you were excited about, not having to necessarily go all the way in with that? Because the role was obviously a little bit smaller in this case. And like we just discussed with Piccolo and Gohan as well, having the forefront of this. But having to take a back seat with Vegeta, how did that feel? Was it okay? Because even those moments were still very awesome, and they made the film really great. Yeah,
dude, Vegeta can walk across the screen and just go, and he can steal an entire scene. So right. I had no problems with Vegeta taking a back seat. I'm actually very, very grateful that Akira Toriyama allowed Vegeta to be such a big part of the series at all. Clearly, like he didn't, I don't know if that was his intention from the beginning, but you even saw in the last Broly film that the main character was Vegeta and Goku fused together. Like it was Gogeta. It wasn't they were equal parts in that film. And so I'm just happy that Vegeta is still kind of around. I'm loving to see like the little hint into what his evolution is.
Yeah.
I mean, the moments you get with Vegeta are kind of like the well, actually literally like some of the post-credit scenes in some of the Marvel films where you just like get this absolute feeling of excitement about what's around the corner. The stuff you see that's coming up for Vegeta and the way he's handling his training and his thought process, it's pretty cool. It's really cool. And I'm sure Piccolo's right there to go like, see, I told you, this is how you do it. You meditate, brother. Come join me in the iceberg someday or whatever. So yeah, I have no problem seeing Vegeta take a back seat, especially if it's for people like Gohan and Piccolo who are so underserved.
Something very uncharacteristic about this film in the third act is and Chris, I know you're a music guy, and the question for the two of you two is that the score sort of took a back seat, which really elevated the voice performances, the very strong performances of the third act. Did that at all excite you, or did you maybe have reservations that you didn't traditionally bring the end of the film how you usually or traditionally have done, with those banging themes and sound effects and whatnot? But in this case, like I said, the score took a little bit of a backseat, and the voice actors did what they did best.
Well, I could tell you that with Kyle and with Sean and I, like we've all known, anyone who's worked in the series in a capacity where you have to scream, we know it's our legacy that we have to do this. Like at the very least, we have to throw our vocal cords and thrash them up for this audience because that's what they want to see. And so I had no doubt that it was going to sound amazing. And in fact, there have been previous moments where in the mix process, they've added kind of effects to the voice. And I've asked the mixer, I'm like, hey, this scream is so visceral and raw and amazing sounding on its own. Maybe don't cover it up. Like, let's just hear it, because that's I think part of the reason why people love Dragon Ball and why they like the dub actors and why they love the performances in the shows, because we don't hold back. It's always been that. I mean, Kyle could tell you from the very beginning, it's how it's been.
Yeah, it's great that gets showcased. And also I love how cinematic and epic the score is when it is there. It helps things feel bigger than life.
Yeah.
In a way that a typical series episode, it's just a different feel. It just feels like the stakes are definitely higher, and that's great. And to have everyone just front and center like that with their we're all shredding our vocal cords for the art.
And I know we're not really supposed to discuss spoilers per se, but I don't know if he's listed in the cast sheet. But you all have probably seen a screener of the film at this point, if I'm assuming. So you know the final, you know kind of what happens towards the end. And I got to give credit to Damian Clark, who voiced the original version of that character. I don't know how you're going to print this without it giving out a spoiler, but like when I first saw his line count, you know, they're usually listed in lines and reactions. Lines are like what you actually speak. Reactions are like, you know, screaming typically or making a sound. His were like 0 lines and 120 reactions. And as I scrolled down, it was like open mouth roar, open mouth roar, open mouth roar into open mouth terrified roar, open mouth roar into like open mouth roar over 5 seconds worth of cuts. There's no way Damien's going to make it through this. And he absolutely murdered it. You can tell it's his voice. You can tell it's him. And that we were really, really lucky that he came in and gave 1,000% on that too. I wish that maybe hold that question off until later, but I got to give full credit to Damien for just absolutely coming in and making the coolest sounds for that character that he did so well back in the day.
And I just want to say, and as a you know, complete sucker for composers and scores, like I'm just completely overwhelmed the fact that like us as the viewers get to give the voice actor, especially Kyle and Gohan, having that moment, being able to like really celebrate the character to that point, and obviously to the person you're speaking about and the character, us being able to have that moment and give our flowers, like, yes, this is the moment we all been wanting, and like it's just beautifully done along with the animation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Kyle's performance at the end just gave me such chills. We recorded it together. It was fun sitting there kind of working on it with him and watching him do his thing. And our only focus was how can we make this as awesome as humanly possible? What can give the audience the chills that they need? And like, I watched it through because he was one of the last people on it, and I cried watching the dub the next day. It was so good. It was so wonderful to see everyone do such an amazing job.
Yeah, I have a question for both Chris and Kyle, since this is going to be published before the release of the film. How do you think fans should prepare themselves before going into Dragon Ball Super Superhero? What do you guys think?
I think they need to bring all their friends and family members. And if they aren't familiar with Dragon Ball at all, obviously they need to do just a crash course and just binge as much as possible. Get in there and see the stakes and get that enriched experience. And especially something like this, it should be celebrated on as big as and loud a screen as possible. And so this
absolutely
this is always a great moment for fans who especially have been here for as long as the franchise has, and they're introducing their kids and their friends and newer generations to this. It's magic. It's pure magic, and it's something that we are all very, very fortunate to get to be a part of.
My only advice would be for them to bring a tarp and a raincoat, because people's heads are going to be blowing up by the end of that movie. It is so good. It's so good. It's such an amazing film. Like there's a part which you all saw towards the end of the film that is simultaneously the absolute peak of the awesomeness of this film, and also one of the most incredible like callbacks to earlier Dragon Ball Z that I have ever seen. Like I picked it, like it happens so quickly too that it takes you a moment to go like, wait a minute, did that literally just happen? And so I cannot wait. And I know there's been, you know, the film has been out in Japan, you know, for a month or so, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen people's spoilers online, but I say this time and time again, you absolutely cannot spoil the emotional impact that this film has. You could know every detail and see every screenshot, but you're not going to be able to replicate the feeling you're going to have being in the theater with other people that have been waiting for these moments for so long. I think if you don't go and see it in a proper cinema, then you're really doing yourself a disservice, honestly.
Absolutely. Biggest screen possible. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Exactly.
All right, man.
Hey,
3
bro.
interviews in the bag. In the bag, bro.
Impressive, huh?
We did
times,
this.
man.
This is a monumental. Listen, if you guys hear this, if you have made it this far on the thing, please share this episode. This is a monumental episode for us. This is.
I sent the clips to my mom, bro. You know,
as you should. As you should,
mom, bro. She has to see. She has to see where we are, bro. Because she used to hear these voices herself.
Listen, let her close her. Let her close her eyes so she thinks that you are talking to actually Goku.
Yeah, literally.
That is how wild Sean Schemmel sounded.
She told me. She said, "Wow, his everyday voice is like, yeah." I was like, yeah. She know what's up.
That is insane. That is insane. So, we did this. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've tuned in for an hour. We're not going to keep you much longer. Thank you guys for tuning in. Next episode, we're going to resume the Summer at Kamehameha House. We had to fly off the island just to do this press junket. We're going to be back on the island to finish up the Tokyo Ghoul and the East Blue Saga of One Piece. So make sure you guys stay tuned, stay ready, and stay blessed. This is The Lookout, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.